here at Mainland at a place that has such a huge influence in my developing into the person I am today. I mean, a lot of you guys don't realize it. I know you're here, probably because Mr. O'Leary made you come here, but I don't feel too bad. I think you guys get out of class for coming here, right? Yeah, okay, that's not too bad of a deal. You may not realize this right now, and I know I didn't when I was in your seat, but Mainland is going to have such a huge impact on your lives. And I'm not just talking about educationally, although they will have a huge impact from that perspective. But I mean the relationships that you cultivate here and build. I mean, some of my best friends in the world, I say 90% of them are from Mainland. Mr. Bowles, Mr. O'Leary, those guys have been a part of every major event in my life since the day we met. And when he says we're close, he means it. And you'll probably hear as you go into college, or you go do your different things, you go to work, some of you go into the military, you'll see that you'll go in different directions. But the real relationships that you build here, the friendships you make, those will always stay the same. And they'll always be solid, and you'll always have those friends for the rest of your lives. In addition to that, the educational foundation that you're getting here is second to none. You guys really don't understand the quality of teachers you have here. I mean, I can tell you for a fact, there's quite a few teachers that were here when I was here. If it wasn't because of them, I can truly say I wouldn't be where I am today. Now, I remember actually talking to, for those of you who know, Mr. Penza, Chuck Penza. He wrote my letter of recommendation for college. And I remember talking to him about what I wanted to do with my life and asking him for advice. When I came back here, while I was in law school, I came back here to sub. And I remember talking to Miss Austin, Mrs. Ayers, and talking to those guys about what I want to do, whether or not I should go into the Marine Corps, and listen to their advice. So when I tell you that don't take for granted the education you're getting here, the guidance, the mentoring, I really mean that, because it'll have a big impact on your lives more than you know. I also want to take a moment here. Mr. O'Leary mentioned it briefly, and I think Ms. Carney is going to talk about the Support the Troops program here, if I'm not mistaken, after I speak. Okay, am I right? Are we talking about this? Okay. I want to take a moment to talk about this because I think it's very important. You know, while I was in Afghanistan, I really had the honor and the privilege to serve with truly America's finest individuals. I mean, people doing some extraordinary things under very difficult conditions. And I'll tell you a story. At one point, I was in the upper Sangin Valley, which most of you, if any of you, don't know where that's at, but it's a very dangerous area. And I was there with 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines. And there are Marines there that are not much older than you guys. I'm talking about 19 and 22-year-olds that haven't showered in 3 months. And it's not a good time, I promise you. And the only thing that they had, the only mail that they could get were care packages that were sent from here, from the States, by organizations, from random organizations like the one that you're going to hear Mr. Carter talk about. So you really have no idea what an impact you're giving, the small things that you do have on the troops over there. But I can tell you from personal experience that it has a very large impact, and you make a huge difference when you participate, okay? So I wanted to take a minute and plug that because it's so important. And I don't want to take much time, but I just have one last thing to talk about before I ask you guys if you have anything for me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. You know, I'm very honored and privileged and overwhelmed to have you all here and have such a wonderful welcome back here in Mainland. But I'm truly not deserving of this, and I'll tell you why. You just heard me briefly mention some of the Marines that I served with that were not much older than you, and I literally mean that. I mean, some of those guys just graduated high school. And these individuals were doing some of the most amazing things I've ever seen any individual do. I didn't think it was possible. I literally saw an 18-year-old Marine who was sleeping in a hole that he personally dug up, who was surrounded by nothing but bags full of sand in the middle of an open area mountain where there are people looking to kill him on a daily basis. And he did this for 6 months, taking a shower 2 times during that entire period. And when he slept, he could not take off any of his body armor. or his Kevlar, which is the helmet, or anything like that, and he had to sleep with his rifle. And really, when you think about that, that's extraordinary, that less than a year ago, this young man was sitting right where you guys were sitting. And to me, that is incredible, when you think about the burden that those guys carry. And I say this because it made me very cognizant of how lucky I am, to be an American and to have the privileges that we have. It's something that I'm in the Marine Corps, that I truly did not think about until I saw those Marines. Because I was sleeping in a sleeping bag in a tent, which isn't home, but it's not a home. So I just ask you to be cognizant of that and think about that as you enjoy your lives, and you should. If there are people out there that are doing that for me, for you, and every other American citizen, and it's something that's really extraordinary, and it's very rare in this world. And finally, thank you very much again for being here. This is more than I ever could have asked for or expected. It truly is overwhelming, and I sincerely appreciate all of you and everything that you do here and the differences that you make in each other's lives. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.